I have to find my wife. Let her stay.
So, Grim Weekend. Now this is also called S.I.C.K, as in Serial Insane Clown Killer. But whatever you want to call it, they're both shit titles and it's still a shit movie. So the film starts out with a woman who looks like she's been butchered half to death, but she's still alive and has the word food written on her forehead. But it makes no sense and it's got no relevance to the story, so why is it even in this film? But it kind of sets a trend for little sequences that pop up every now and then. Now, none of these help flush out the characters or explain the backstory or anything. They're just pointless and stupid. So this goon here is the main guy, and he goes by the name of Brandon Walker. Now here he's telling his work colleague that he's going away camping for the weekend with some friends and a woman that he fancies and works with, but as she quite rightly points out, they don't even know each other.
We hardly know each other.
But that doesn't stop her going along, does it? Crazy. Now Brandon's acting is awful, and he's got one of those delightfully punchable faces.
Mark, stop it! Kick his ass, Mark.
Just from watching the opening 2 or 3 minutes, you'll feel like you're watching some camp rejected TV show. It's that bad. Now sometimes films are so bad, they're good on some level, but Grim Weekend is so bad, it's unbearable. It really is the pits. It's really weird when Brandon says things about his friend's wife being hot and asking how they met.
Yeah, your wife is hot, isn't she? How exactly did you and Mark meet?
Who wrote this? I thought they were meant to be friends, so what kind of a conversation is that? It's absolutely mind-blowing how retarded this film is. It's not even unintentionally amusing or engaging like Camp Blood was, for example. It's just boring. 5 people, 1 weekend, 12 miles from nowhere. So I was thinking, brilliant, only 5 people, so that means only 4 or 5 killings probably. But no, there's only 2, and one of them you don't even see. You just see this goon fall over with an axe in his back. And look at this on the back of the DVD. Hunting, shooting and fishing is the name of the game. That makes no sense. Hunting, no real hunting in this. Shooting, yeah, fair enough, there's a gun, but it's loaded with blanks, but it does manage to leave bullet holes in the door, which is just mental. And fishing. No fish in the film, so that's bollocks. Ugh, fucking Grim Weekend indeed if you ever watch this. But my advice is don't watch it. So we're treated to boring camp stories, awful acting, and basically nothing at all. The story doesn't move in any direction, it just kind of lingers around in limbo. It has to be the slowest film I've ever seen. Have you noticed that guy looks like Bruce Campbell? Now another weird thing with this film is they pick up this girl in a bar for no reason at all, and it turns out she's an inbred killer who's the sister of Brandon, or his lover, or both. But when you get to the end of the film, you then realise that for their plan to work, to kill Bruce Campbell and his wife and her, then they had to initially pick up this girl in the bar. It makes no sense. So finally, after a painful 36 minutes, we get to see the first sight of horror in this epic tale. Dolls in a fridge. Now, for whatever reason, they all freak out at seeing dolls in a fridge, and she says she wants to go home. It's just pathetic, and the acting gets worse if you can actually believe that. And this is where it starts to become slightly amusing. Bruce Campbell freaks out about his wife suddenly disappearing and reiterates this several times, but it still doesn't stop asshole Brandon asking him what's wrong.
We need to find my wife now.
Okay, Mark. Now what's wrong?
This is hilarious now. It's the most wooden shit acting I've ever seen. Now that weird noise was meant to be Bruce Campbell's wife screaming, yet it sounds nothing like a woman. Then they casually discuss searching for her, and, well, just watch it, it's simpler.
Tracy, let's go find Susan.
Oh, that's okay. You guys go ahead. I'm gonna stay here.
I'd like it if you go with us.
I don't want to.
I would appreciate it if you would go.
I feel safer here.
I have to find my wife. Let her stay.
Brilliant. Bruce Campbell claims that that sound was Cujo.
My wife is missing. We find a headless doll in the fridge, and now Cujo's out here in the woods.
No idea what he's talking about. Now more dolls pop up in the woods, which sends people way over the top, and the DVD claims that the dolls are actually voodoo dolls. Whatever. I think the person who wrote this blurb on the back of the DVD was just having a laugh and probably didn't even watch this film.
Did you hear that weird noise?
It was probably nothing.
How can it be nothing? This is mental. So by this stage of the film, we're 45 minutes in, which is not even halfway through, believe it or not, and it's easily the worst film ever, because basically nothing's happened. Now Bruce Campbell decides that shouting is the only way forward to finding his wife, and then it cuts strangely to a POV shot of some wanker in a mask. And you can't even understand a word he's saying. Check this out. Now, they can hear the clown screaming and shouting, who's obviously within close proximity, but they can't comprehend what this noise is. But Brandon does come out with the classic quote here.
Who is that? You're on private property!
So, there you go. Next time somebody's stalking you in the woods, just shout out you're on private property and they'll go a-running.
Susan! Susan! Susan!
Oh, scared a few animals there, Bruce. Strangely enough, this film really is starting to grow me in terms of comedic value. This whole ridiculous craze of shouting out Susan just spreads into each of the characters. They'll be talking about various bits and bobs and then randomly shout out Susan.
We're looking for her! Susan!
This is a bit strange. Walking around looking for the wife and then there's some random cuts of an axe hitting a log. What fucking stupid drug abusers made this film? So the search continues, and just for pure randomness, Bruce Campbell decides to forget about searching for his lost wife and have sex with a complete stranger. Now the person chopping the log chops and chops and chops, and this obviously represents intercourse. Obviously. Now if you want to watch a really shit film, please check out Grim Weekend or S.I.C.K, because it's easily one of the worst films I've ever seen. Forget all the requests that people keep sending in. This would beat any of them any day. Then we're treated to another POV shot again, and this time the guy's singing a song before finally we get to see the first death scene. Look at the tagline, let the killing begin. Yeah, it only takes an hour to get started, and then it's barely even started because we only get to see one killing in the entire film. Jesus Christ. Bruce Campbell finds his dead wife, and then the evil clown guy pops out of a paper house. Really, look, he pops out of a black paper house in the middle of the woods. Talk about low budget. And Campbell doesn't even look scared. It's like, oh look, black paper house in the woods, that's normal. Ooh, clown popping his arm out to try and grab me and kill me, it's normal. So Bruce Campbell runs away, and despite being an obese mess and struggling to breathe, let alone physically move his body, the fat bastard keeps pace with Bruce Campbell, and the next time we see Bruce Campbell, it's at night time and he's got an axe in his back. What, so he's been running all evening from the fat bastard? So fuck this. He's inbred, so is she, he's fat and talks shit. We get great scenes like throwing a plastic head back and forth, and also seeing Bruce Campbell shout like a little spastic. See, that's a game you can play to make this more bearable. Count how many times that Bruce Campbell shouts out for his wife. Now this shock ending is meant to surprise us, but we can see it coming a mile away. The clown guy carries her away, never to be seen again. Brandon goes back to work and invites more friends to go out the following weekend. And doesn't anyone at the company find it strange that employee numbers are dropping drastically because of Brandon? Let's look at something else in the back of the DVD. Voodoo dolls. Yeah, okay, there's dolls, but not voodoo dolls. A mutilated dog. What? Where? I suppose that could be a splattered dog or something on the tree, but all I keep looking at are the plastic doll's legs. A mummified body. I can see a skeleton locked in a shed. It's certainly not mummified though, it's just a plastic skeleton. 5 people, 1 weekend, 12 miles from nowhere. What, so they're trapped in their cabin, and if they want to escape, they have to travel 12 miles, but once they travel that 12 miles, they're then at nowhere. Doesn't even make any sense. This film isn't even worth the pound coin that I spent on it. I'd rather give this to charity or some homeless tramp. There you go. Charity for the homeless.
What?
You're a homeless guy. There's a £1 coin. I don't want it. It's better than waste it on a shitty DVD.
But I was drinking this.
Buy a drink with that £1 coin.
I had a drink until you put a fucking £1 coin in it.
Buy homeless guy.
I'm not homeless, I live in the same house.
You're a homeless guy. There's a £1 now. Show.
Son of a bitch.
Now, you may recall that I gave a film called Camp Blood a mediocre 1 out of 10. But compared to this, Camp Blood would easily get a 9 or a 10 due to its unintentional hilarity. But this deserves 0.5 out of 10 because it's that bad.